Hello everybody, welcome to another update on the stock screener. Today we are going to talk about Verde and Intrepid Potash. I want to compare those two companies. But first, let's talk about the macro environment of agriculture. So as you can see, food has been topping out. So fund managers have actually sold off their agriculture and food funds. So that's what's happened recently. I still think that food will stay high. Um, yeah, so this topping out has given some weakness on the fertilizer companies, but I think it will stay high because of this here. EU natural gas has exploded higher again, so this will probably put a floor on fertilizers because, as you know, fertilizers depend on natural gas. And here you can see that urea has finally come back to the range where farmers want to buy it. So this is affordable, this is less affordable, and it's now in the range again. And in Europe, you can see that the ammonia price has gone down below the cost of production. So a lot of European fertilizer plants are now shutting down. For example, in Romania and in the UK, CF Industries has shut down some plants. So that is happening right now. If there are no plants, you have no ammonia, and that means there's no fertilizer. It's as simple as that. And that's also why we see a bottoming out here in the urea price. It's starting to rise again. This is for Brazil. This one is Romania. It has temporarily halted ammonia production, and CF Industries has actually permanently shut down its manufacturing facility. Okay, now people are freaking out about the fertilizer prices, but let's take a good look at this. Prices have risen and are still at the all-time highs. And for potash specifically, look at this here. 800, it's still at 880. This is for, I think, the US. So it has not come down. Potash price is still at the all-time highs. So I don't know why people are freaking out. So everything is still fine. Now let's talk a bit about the difference between Intrepid and Verde. So which company would you buy? A company with high margins or low margins? I would buy the one with high margins, and Verde is one with high margins. Would I buy a company with high growth or low growth? I would buy one with high growth, and Verde is one with high growth. Intrepid has no growth. So you need to think about this. Why do I need high margins? So let's say that the potash price goes down by 30% or 50%. Then those margins will get crushed. So Intrepid's margins would get crushed, and you can already see here why this company has dropped so much, because people are afraid that potash prices are going down. Verde, on the other hand, hasn't gone down that much, and that's because it has higher margins than Intrepid. And I can illustrate that on my valuation chart. So these are the financials of Intrepid. Look at the tiny margins. The net income is really small. It was around 5 to 10%. It's almost negative. So at the time that potash was around 500, somewhere here, 500 potash price, 400, then Intrepid had very tiny margins. Net income was around maybe 5 to 10 million per quarter. So that's nothing. It would give a PE of around 15 at today's price. So there's a lot of downside risk if this potash price goes back down to 500 to 600. So now the margins are good. Now we have around 30% margins. And the PE is around 7 right now. But if this goes down, this potash goes down, then we have PE of 15. So it can really crash by 50% if potash dives. Now with Verde, we have less risk because we have higher margins. So what are our margins? We have 300 costs and the price of the product is around 1000 to 1200 right now. So that's a margin of 70%, 70% net margin, which is much better, of course, right? 70 or 60%, right? Because there's discounts. But if the price goes down, if the potash price goes down, let's look at the price. So if this KCl is still very high at 1200, probably now at 1050 or something like that. But if it goes down back to here, 700, and we know that Brazil has higher potash prices, then then the margins would be higher than Intrepid, would be maybe 20 to 30% margins instead of the 10% margin of Intrepid. So Verde is protected on the downside because it has higher margins. Okay. So less downside risk, but upside potential. It has upside potential. And that's illustrated by this growth here. We can double production, triple production, 5-fold production, 10-fold, 20-fold, and 50-fold. So there is plenty of upside due to the growth, and there is downside protection because of the margin. These are the companies that you need to buy. High margin and high growth. Okay? Because you are protected on both sides. That was the only thing I wanted to talk about. Margins matter. And I'll see you in the next video.